She was catapulted from her native Hong Kong to Hollywood with her first role in The World of Suzie Wong. And then she was part of a groundbreaking musical, the first Hollywood musical with an all-Asian cast, Flower Drum Song. She went on to have a very long and varied career that is continuing in film and television. She has played a variety of roles in every single genre you could imagine. She also was a producer herself, had her own production company called Nancy Kwan Films, and she wrote about her incredible story in her memoir, which I highly recommend you pick up from the bookshop if there's any copies left. It's called The World of Nancy Kwan, Uplay on The World of Suzie Wong. And she is just a remarkable person, a true pioneer in Hollywood and beyond. So please make her welcome, Nancy Kwan.
Hello, everyone.
Well, as you know, I devoured your book. I absolutely enjoyed it. And I listened to your audiobook as well because it was so nice to hear you tell your own story. What was that experience like, in particular, reading your own work and telling your story in the audio form?
Well, I haven't done many audiobooks, and so, but doing your own book, it's a strange experience. But we worked, I think I did 4 days on it, and I had someone really good to work with. So we just took it day by day, and finally got through it. Yeah, it was good. It was good. It came out well.
It really did, and I mean, you go through your entire story, but what's also so special about your book is that it's not just your story,
That's
but
right.
you tell the larger picture of other Asian actors in
Yes.
Hollywood. Why was that
Yes.
important to you?
Well, I think it's very important because I was one of the first Asians really to I had the opportunity to get good roles, and that was in the early 60s, 1960, when the studio system was kind of fading out, and Ray Stark, I was under contract to Ray Stark, which was he was a very, I think, a terrific producer, for me anyway, because he gave me the opportunity to play Asian roles and non-Asian roles. And so, but going back to Asians, we wanted to include everyone that ever worked in Hollywood, in any Hollywood films, starting from way back from when we first started, that we could think of, like Cesar Hayakawa, Anime Wong, some wonderful actors that have come before me, and I think it's fitting that we should all include each other.
Yeah, it's lovely, and it also shows your part in the bigger story
Yes.
of Asian actors in Hollywood and Asian representation as well. When you were growing up, did you realize that, or did you watch Hollywood films and think, why are white actors playing Asian characters? Did that come to mind?
No, not really. I mean, we watched, I grew up in Hong Kong, and at that time it was a British colony, so we had all the Hollywood films, and I had my first movie and my favorite was the Judy Garland
Wizard of Oz?
Wizard of Oz. Yes, and I mean, I've never forgotten that, the red shoes. I wanted a pair of red shoes so badly at that time, and it was just wonderful, and so, yeah, we grew up with American films. But there were Asians in it, but they didn't really have substantial roles that could propel them or the career to help them along. No, I think that only, even today, as Asians, we're still fighting for better roles. It's much better now because it's, I think the awareness of Asians settling in America, but we still need good directors, Asian directors, writers, producers to get us going. And especially, there's so much talent today, so many young Asian actors who are serious about the craft, and they're very, very good.
Yeah, well, can you tell us who wrote the foreword for your book?
Kevin Kwan, my cousin, wrote the foreword for the book.
And he is known for?
He's known for such wonderful, wonderful books. He's written about 4 or 5 of his books that I've read. You know, Crazy Rich Asians. And then he made that into a film. And
About working with you.
he did?
And he said you're almost like a philosopher.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think in my book, somebody else said that about the book. He said, Nancy, you're very philosophical. I said, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's my Asian upbringing, maybe the way I see the world, or, you know. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, you know, we try to live a good life, enjoy life. Sometimes you have your ups and downs like everybody else, and hopefully we'll learn to go with the flow and just stay in there, you know,
Yeah, well,
and stay centered.
Yeah, he had really nice things to say about you, and it was exactly that.
Aw.
That you had a lot to teach him. It wasn't just him teaching you.
Oh,
which
that's
was
very
really
sweet.
Really
Oh.
sweet. So at that point, after making The World of Suzie Wong, did you decide this is what I want to do with my life? I want to be an actress?
Yeah, when at the end of the film, I said to myself, yeah, I like this. I mean, I was very fortunate in my first film, and I get to play a leading role. So yes, I did. I thought, well, all right, I'm going to give it a shot, do my best, but then, you know, I was very lucky because my next film just kind of it was the easiest film I ever got, a film role. I didn't have to audition for it. It was for Flower Drum Song, and in those days, I was encouraged, or the young actors were encouraged to go to parties, get a little dressed up, and be seen, so that producers, maybe you get a job and everything else. So it was one of those parties. I was sitting there with my friends, and this man comes up to me and he says, "You're Linda Lowe." And I went, "What? What?" And he said, "You're perfect for Linda Lowe." I said, "Really?" I looked at him, I said, "Who's this guy?" And he said, "I'm Ross Hunter, the producer of Flower Drum Song. I'm going to be making this wonderful film with great music, Rodgers and Hammerstein, and you're perfect for the role." And he said, "I'm going to send the script to your agent tomorrow, and look at the script and see what you think." I almost fainted. I said, "Oh, great, thank you, sir." I said, and I read this script the next day, loved it, and because I'm being a dancer, and this is a musical, I get to dance, I get to sing, and I mean, in Flower Drum Song, I worked with some really super, super talented people,
Yeah.
like Henry Costa, the director, Hermes Pan, the choreographer. He worked with Fred Astaire on mostly all of his films, and as I was saying,
Yeah.
when we had this 6 weeks rehearsal for the dance numbers, and one day dancing, checking out myself in the mirror, and checking the dancers out so that we're all in sync, and I looked over at Hermes standing by the piano to see what he was thinking, you know, about the dancing, and I looked over again, I said, "Hey, who's that?" I said, "That's not Hermes." I said, "That's Fred Astaire." I said, "Fred Astaire's here to watch us dance." And by that time, the actors or the dancers behind me also saw Fred. We almost fainted. We did our best. We got through the number without injuring ourselves or anything else. And Fred Astaire was so gracious. And he came and congratulated us and told us how much he liked the number and everything else. And later I did get to spend time with Fred Astaire and Hermes and listen to them talking about their days when they worked together on some of these fabulous films. Yeah.
Truly amazing, and even just thinking about the cast you were with, in Flower Drum Song. I mean, some incredible actors.
Yeah, yes. James Shigella was a very handsome, beautiful young man from, I think he's from Hawaii, and with this great voice. Then we had Jack Sue, who's very funny and very talented. And Yoshi Yomeki, another wonderful singer, wonderful actress. No, we had really good people in the film. And Irene Sheriff, who did all the costumes. Irene Sheriff knew how to make an actor look good. She would look at you, study you, and whatever point is complimentary, she would put an accent on that. And I mean, and the colors, she would blend the colors, all the costumes, so that I would stand out for the leading lady. I mean, she had just great talent, wonderful I really feel very, very fortunate to have worked with someone like her.